Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com. It's the day everybody's been waiting for. It is TGIF, baby. Thank God it is Friday. And it's even kind of a special Friday because I'm guessing a lot of you people that normally would be working today, you ain't. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining us. Talking a little bit about the National League as we wrap up MLB. And, of course, you know him, you love him. Who better to do it with than my partner in crime? He is Scott Reichel. Scott, happy Friday, buddy. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Looking forward to July 4th weekend, which means one thing and one thing only, and that is the hot dog eating contest. So we're going to see what happens there.
Not
No,
having
but
nope, not having that, buddy.
I'm pretty sure they were in the works for something with regard to digital.
Really?
I've seen betting odds for the hot dog eating contest. I'm pretty sure that they're having that.
The dickens, you say?
It says tomorrow at noon. So I think they're doing some. I mean, I know Bet Online did a virtual eating contest with the soups and the can of beans and the whatever about a month.
Right, I remember that. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm pretty sure it's the same format. I think they're just going to be doing a digital setup for the hot dog eating contest. But yeah, there's betting odds all over the place. I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow.
Wow. I mean, I saw them earlier in the season. I just assumed that was something they hadn't gotten off the site yet, as they hadn't officially canceled it. So, little fun fact, you know, the dude that does the announcements and everything, does all of the enthusiastic announcing with the hat. He retweeted one of my tweets last year.
Nice.
Like 3 hours after the contest. You think he'd have stuff going on, but
he's spending the entire year watching hot dog eating footage just so he can prepare for this one moment. But yeah, you just learned something new in the first minute.
Yeah. I'm surprised we're not doing a show on it.
I feel like we were just gonna pick chestnuts, so I don't know if there's really a point.
I did a deep 3 last year on the hot dog eating contest, looking at the props and stuff. So
I think I did a show also, and I think I won. I think I took the under.
Yeah, I took the over. I think 71.5 or whatever it was, and
yeah, I think I won that. But I'm either or. Yeah. So you got Chestnut trying to retain his title tomorrow, and other than that, yeah, there's no UFC. You got NASCAR on Sunday, and you got some golf. So I'm kind of set for the weekend.
I feel like talking about Joey Chestnut dominating the hot dog eating contest is a perfect segue to get us started on the National League West. You've got the Joey Chestnut Dodgers that are a prohibitive favorite. I don't know, Scott. I've been doing this a long time. I can't remember the last time I saw minus 715 to win the division like the Los Angeles Dodgers have. 37.5 is their win total. Is that an incredible number for you, and is it justified?
I saw minus 500 on FanDuel, so you can cut a little bit into that juice. I'm not surprised. If there's one team that probably deserves to be that big of a favorite, it would be the Dodgers, based on how dominant they've been in this division in the past. However, I'm not going to sell Chestnut short because he has a few more trophies to show for than the Dodgers, right?
That's true. That's very, very true. The Dodgers, in fact, they have not won in 32 years since Kurt Gibson's dramatic home run there in Los Angeles with Tommy Lasorda at the helm.
I remember that. I was -9 at the time.
It's been and I was actually watching it live. So there you go. So Scott, let me ask you: this is a hell of a lineup. I mean, you can't. They got Mookie Betts, so they did lose a couple of pitchers, but they brought Mookie Betts over from the Red Sox. They've got here's a murderer's row for you: Betts, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, Jock Peterson. There's your front 6. That's a pretty fair lineup right there, buddy. It really, really is. And of course, they're going to have the DH, so they're going to get Matt Beatty there a few more at bats. I like this kid. I like this catcher. The rich keep getting richer. A guy came up through their farm system, Will Smith. I'm not totally convinced about their rotation after Kershaw and Buehler. David Price has left a little bit to be desired the last couple of years, and I think Urias and Alex Wood are two. I would call them question marks. But
I think they're serviceable, but they're not going to jump off the page.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. And I don't love Jansen as the closer. His velocity has been down for the most part last season. So here's my question, Scott. There's obviously no value in the Dodgers laying them at even minus 500. And like I said, DraftKings had it at minus 715. DraftKings also had the Padres at plus 750, Diamondbacks plus 900. Scott, you want to just throw a unit on the Padres and Diamondbacks and see what happens?
No. For me, I feel like if you want to do that, your sole plan is to hedge at some point halfway through the year. At the end of the day, I think the Dodgers are too good. I'm a little bit higher in price than you are. I know that his contract has definitely made him look a lot worse in recent years, along with the hand injury due to playing Fortnite that happened last year. So I know that he's had some issues, but at the end of the day, he still has been to a World Series. He's won a World Series, pitched pretty well in that playoff run against the Dodgers. But if you want to look at the back end of the rotation, I do agree that Urias, who was a bullpen guy last year for the most part, and Wood aren't exactly, huge pluses at the 4 and 5. But then again, how many rotations in the league, if any, actually have a pitcher in the 4 or 5 spot that you're actually happy about?
I agree, but they got rid of a lot of talent. They got rid of Hyun-Jin Ryu.
They got rid of Maeda also. They lost
Maeda, right?
They lost some pieces. I do like the acquisition of Blake Trinan though, from Oakland. I know that he struggled last year, but I know that he was at one point one of the best closers in the AL. So potentially they can move him into a closer spot if Jansen struggles. So I think they can find a way. But for the most part, there's really not much else to talk about here. Peterson wasn't supposed to be on the team. He's on the team because the trade fell through and they got to keep him. They got Gatterall anyway, who potentially could be a starter as well, so he could be moved into the rotation. This team is just stacked. They're the best team in the National League. It's really not that close. I think Dodgers should run away with this division again.
Okay. All right. Well, that's certainly tracks with how the betting odds are going. Padres it's one of and it's also one of these weird situations where the Padres are the second betting favorite at plus 750, but their win totals a game less than the Diamondbacks, who are actually plus 900. Padres win totals 30.5, Diamondbacks 31.5. Anything interest you about either one of these two teams?
If I had to pick either of the two, I'm picking the Diamondbacks. I do like what they did this offseason. Normally, they're not the team that spends money. They're the team that gets rid of their best players. Whether it was Greinke at the deadline or whether it was J.D. Martinez or whether it was Paul Goldschmidt, they've been known to kind of sell the farm a little bit during some off seasons and during some breaks. They actually got mad bum, so they went out and they got themselves an ace. Now their rotation is going to look a little bit weaker because Mike Leake decided to opt out of the restart, and he's not going to be pitching this season. And he was supposed to be either the number 2 or number 3 pitcher on the Diamondbacks, so that's going to hurt. But you had the emergence of Ketel Marte last year. You still have some pretty good pieces with Jake Lamb. You have Peralta, who should be healthy. I actually like him. He's never healthy, but when he's healthy, he's actually a very good outfielder. I like the Diamondbacks. I think their team's pretty good. Archie Bradley was a disaster as a starter. As a closer, he was actually pretty good last year. So they have the potential to shut the door on some games. And you also have the emergence of Zach Gallen in the rotation. I like him. I think he has some upside. He's pretty good. The Padres, on paper, their lineup looks pretty good. I know they traded Hunter Renfroe for Tommy Pham, which I think is an upgrade. They still have Machado. They still have Tatis. I don't know if Tatis can stay healthy, but they still have him. Hosmer had a down year last year, but he's still pretty good. Mejia is a pretty good catcher. Really not a fan of their bullpen or their rotation. I do love Kirby Yates. I think Yates is a phenomenal closer. I think he's one of the best closers in the league. Your setup guy is who? Emilio Pagan or Drew Pomerantz? Not exactly a bullpen I'm looking forward to. And the rotation, you have Paddock, who's very solid, but I don't know if he's on an innings restriction because he was on an innings restriction last year. And we're talking about the Dodgers after the third starter, the second starter not being sold. After Paddock, you have Lamet, Richards, Davies, and Lucchesi.
Joey Lucchesi.
Yeah, Lucchesi. Not really a rotation I'm looking forward to. So for that reason, I think San Diego should underachieve a little bit. I think their win total's a bit high. I think they'll finish a little bit under 500. I can see them with 27 wins, give or take.
You're really down on everybody else in the West, aren't you?
I like the Diamondbacks, but I don't think they can compete with the Dodgers. I think the Diamondbacks will go over. I mean, that team barely missed out on a playoff spot, and they went on a massive heater for the last, I'd say, 2 months before falling apart a little bit over the last 2 weeks. So Arizona barely missed out on the wild card spot last year. They're at 31.5. I believe it's plus 100 on DraftKings. I like the over there. I think that team's just well run. And I think the Padres, seems like they have expectations every year, and they never reach them. So for that reason, I'll lean to the under on them as well. So I'm not high on teams in the West, but I do like the Diamondbacks being the second best team in the division.
Well, and since I'm going to take my flyer on them to win the division, I'm not going to mess with their win total.
Padres or the Diamondbacks?
Either one.
Okay.
I probably like the I probably like the Diamondbacks win total a little bit more at 31.5. I do the Padres at 30.5.
I think they're less likely to implode, and
Yeah,
that's the main reason why I would take them.
and they've shown their stamina, and they've shown an ability to keep it going throughout the season and finish strong, and which the Padres have not. So yeah, and I do like somebody we didn't talk about is Robbie Ray, who's I think is one of the most underrated pitchers in Major League
Well,
Baseball.
he's been linked to trades for the last 3 years, so I never know if he's actually going to be there for a full season or not. But with the departure or the absence, I should say, of Mike Leake, I expect them to keep Ray because they're going to need every piece of veteran starting pitcher that they have in order to try to salvage something. But yeah, he's pretty good. That's a good point.
All right, and do we have anything excites you here about the? Obviously, we're not going to take them to win the division, but you got a couple of win totals here on the Rockies at 26.5, and of course on the Giants 25.5. Anything get you going about either one of those two teams?
For me, I would lean to the under on the Rockies. Simply put, this team completely fell apart after the first month of the season, give or take, and their offseason moves were non-existent. They basically brought the same exact team back that fell apart last year and had one of the worst records. And I don't know how they expect to win games. I guess the one upgrade is that they have Daniel Murphy playing at the DH now because he can't play second base. And that involved nothing the Rockies actually did. That had to do with what the MLB's rule changes were. But if you look at the rotation, Marquez is pretty good. Gray's Freeland used to be good. I don't really know what happened to him. He fell off a cliff last year.
Yes, he did.
And Sanzatella's And you got Tiki Gonzalez, who's not great. So you have those. The bullpen's a disaster. I thought Wade Davis was awful last year, and I thought his ERA was around 5. His ERA turned out to be 8.65, so he was even worse than I thought he was last year.
Dreadful.
And he's your closer. So this team can't pitch, and hitting-wise, this team has a pretty good lineup. I like David Dahl. McMahon's pretty good. Arenado's insane. Story's injured every year, but he's good when he's healthy. And Blackman has COVID, but he's supposed to be back by the start of the season. So the team's pretty good from a lineup perspective, but you're going to have to score 7 runs a game if you want to actually win games. So I got to take the under.
Yeah, and that's a really weak bottom third of that order too. They've got to figure
the DH helps, but yeah.
It does. Well, they've got to figure out who's going to play left field. They got to figure out who's going to play second base. I'm not a gigantic fan of Tony Walters at the catcher.
I don't think the Cubs are fans of Tony Walters either.
I'm sure they're not. So I'm going to probably play. I don't think I'm going to touch the Rockies. I think I'm going to play the Giants under 25.5. I don't think the
team stinks. The team stinks.
What's that?
The team stinks. I mean, if you really want to just be honest about it, the rotation, you have Johnny Cueto and Samardzija. Cueto has had injury issues for the last, 3-4 years?
Right.
I mean, ever since he left the Royals, it seems like he's been injured almost every year.
Right.
But he's okay. Samardzija is good, but I feel like he should have been traded 3 years ago when he still had some form of trade value.
Yeah.
They kept him. They brought Kevin Gausman in, who's a potential gas can, but he has potential. He does have a lot of arm talent. Right. So I can't really criticize him too much. He's a low risk, high reward signing, and they'll hope that he does something. Other than that, though, the bullpen's terrible. They might have one of the worst bullpens by name I've seen in the entire league. It's absolutely dreadful. And you're relying on people like Posey and Crawford and Belt, these people who had disastrous years last year, to just suddenly turn back the clock. Even Longoria as well. You're bringing back Pablo Sandoval and Hunter Pence. Pence was good last year, but you're basically just trying to get a reunion tour out there. Yeah. And I don't think you're going to win many games.
Yeah, this looks like a relatively close to the same lineup that faced the Royals in 2014. Obviously without Longoria, but
not enough Gregor Blanco. That's the only thing missing for the Giants right now.
And Pagan, and I mean, obviously there's a few differences, but you look up at Hunter Pence, Buster Posey, Brandon Belt.
It's literally just repeating people in history, which it is what it is. Giants tried to splurge on some people. They paid Posey a decent amount of money after the injury, and that turned out to be a disaster. They paid Longoria a lot of money. He's well over the hill at this point.
Yeah.
Crawford fell off a cliff. Belt was never a big average guy, but he wasn't good either last year. And, yeah, you're kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the exception of Yastrzemski, who's a 27-year-old rookie who looked good last year. That's pretty much it.
If only he had some kind of name cachet where he could have moved through the minors a little quicker.
Correct, but I'm just saying a 27-year-old rookie, and he was your bright spot last year.
Yeah.
You might want to think about trading him potentially.
Yeah, you know your team's old when your rookies are 27.
Yeah, so as a whole, Giants, I don't think they're going to be that good. I think there's a chance they can go over just because of the fact that I think the Rockies are going to struggle that badly, and somebody's going to have to win games between the two of them. So I don't know, but I'm not a Gabe Kapler guy, so I don't think that helps either. So for me, I lean under on both, but I'm going to pass for the most part.
Philly says good luck with Gabe.
Yeah.
So, all right. So just to recap here on the National League West, we both agree on the Dodgers. I
like the over also. I know it's high. This team could easily win 40 games, and it wouldn't surprise anybody.
37.5. You like the over there?
Yeah. I don't know how you play the under.
I'm like you. I'm going to go Diamondbacks in second place. I will play the over 31.5 there.
I like the plus 100. Plus 100 is attractive to me.
Okay, I'll take that. Absolutely. Padres in third. We'll play the under 30.5. Prove to me you can play 500 baseball at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't remember the last time the Padres might have had a winning record or a 500 record might have been when Trevor Hoffman was still around.
And I think I'm going to play Rockies and Giants both under. Rockies under 26.5, Giants under 25.5. You got to, of course, we talked about who they're going to be playing, and they're going to be playing those teams from the American League West as well. And there's a lot of talent in that division. They're
going to be underdogs all the time.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're pretty much on the same boat there. The only thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to take a spin on the Padres and Diamondbacks just because of the uncertainty principle. There's weird things that happen in baseball all the time. And is it likely? No, but that's why you're getting 9-1 on your money. So,
I mean, I think if you're going for the uncertainty principle, you just take the Giants at 80-1 and just call it a day.
No.
They don't have any chance. But if you want to go uncertainty, you can potentially hedge it a week into the season.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying. So,
all right.
The Dodgers should coast. That's my 2 cents on the division.
It's hard seeing a scenario where they don't, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's take a look at the American League West, which is kind of similar to the National League West, although not as prohibitive a favorite as the Astros are minus 167.
I think this division's better because you actually have had a couple of playoff teams the last couple of years instead of just one who represents the entire division.
Yeah, true. The A's are always right there. The win total on the Astros 35.5. A's plus 275, 33.5. Angels plus 550, 31.5. Rangers plus 1,600, 28.5. And the Mariners plus 10,000 at 24.5. Scott, where's your value in this division?
The value in the division itself, I think Houston's going to win the division. If I really want to go for value, Rangers at 16-1, I guess. I mean, that actually looks like an attractive price for a team that I don't want to say I'm bullish on the Rangers. That would imply I actually think they're going to have a serious chance to make the playoffs. But I think they're undervalued. I think the Rangers on paper actually look pretty good. If you want to just go through from top to bottom, getting Kluber definitely helps out the rotation. We'll get into the Rangers in a bit. We can start out with the Astros. I think the shorter season actually helps out the Astros. A, because you have no fans there who are going to be booing them relentlessly. And B, it's very tough for Dusty Baker to burn out his entire team when you have 100 less games to burn out. So right. I actually think that would work out pretty well for Houston. Oakland, I still like. I think Oakland can make the playoffs as a wild card spot. But in reality, with no fans and no real controversy surrounding the Astros that much anymore because fans aren't going to be at the games for the most part, I think it's going to be pretty easy for them. I think it's a dream scenario for everything that's happened with the Astros. They should win the division. I'm not a big fan of the rotation outside of Greinke and Verlander, but the lineup is still insane. And I still think that Altuve, Springer, Alvarez, you're just so stacked. It's really just they're so good.
Yeah, I mean they've got Michael Brantley hitting 7th and Josh Reddick hitting 8th. That pretty much tells you what you need to know about this team. I don't. We talked about them a little bit last week about the rotation. I'm not a massive fan of the rotation after Greinke. Of course, Verlander. we talked about albatross contracts, and
I
we
don't know
had
if he's ever going to retire, if he's ever going to slow down, but he found the fountain of youth like 3 years ago.
yeah, dude. He led the league in wins, starts, innings pitched, hits per nine,
You
or
won the
whip.
you won the Cy Young,
Yeah, I know.
so
That's pretty unbelievable as far as Verlander and what he's been able to accomplish here since he came over from Houston.
mhm.
I just got some question marks about McCullers, Urquidy, and Josh James as they fill up
It's not great.
3, 4, 5 spots. We've got a good bullpen, although I'm not
Losing Joe Harris hurts, but I still Osuna is a hit or miss guy, but he
Yeah.
has upside.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, that's the questions for me is going to be back into the rotation and the bullpen situation. But I'm thinking
That lineup is too good.
this is a team that's going to win games 9-7. They don't care.
Yeah, I also didn't even mention Bregman and so these other. This lineup is so good. It's just this team could win games in a variety of ways, mostly going to involve runs, but in reality, Houston's dominated this division for the last couple of years as well. I don't see them being overtaken.
Yeah, and this is an A's team here that's a plus 275 with a win total of 33.5. I don't know if either one of those things get me excited. Marcus Semien, another great player that plays on the West Coast that a lot of people back east don't get to see a lot. He's a fantastic player.
I think he was second in MVP voting last year.
Yeah, that's he's the real deal. But they've got some problems with the depth of their lineup, and I just don't love their rotation with Mike Fiers as the number one guy, Sean Manaea.
Well, I think Manaea is the number one. I think Fiers will be 2. But either or, Montes is your 3, Luzardo, and I don't even know who your 5th starter is going to be. They're going to have to decide it.
AJ Puck, baby.
As of right now, I don't know if he's actually going to be the number 5, but I do love Liam Hendricks. I think he's a very good closer.
Yeah.
They got Diekman, who I think is a decent reliever, who should help out the back end of the bullpen. Am I a fan of Yasmiro Petit? Not really. Soria's okay. The lineup itself is decent. I mean, Olsen's decent. Sean Murphy's an okay acquisition at catcher. Chapman's still very good. Simeon's very good. Laureano's a phenomenal outfielder. Piscotty, I feel like, is a bigger name than actual talent, but he's still solid. And Davis is the ultimate boomer bust guy. This team's pretty good. I don't think their Astros good. So, yeah, I think Oakland can fight for a playoff spot, but in reality, I simply just think Houston's better. So,
yep, it is. It's I think AJ Puck's going to be a hell of a pitcher. I really do.
Could be. I just don't know if this is the year that he's going to make that massive step forward.
Well, he's got control problems. You know, he's a fireballer. He's got great numbers as far as strikeout goes, but he walks a ton of guys.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if he might be sent down to the minors to work on some mechanic stuff at some point.
Nobody's going to the minors, brother. I'll tell you that.
Probably not, because that doesn't exist right now.
There are no minors, right?
I'm just, you know what I mean. I'm saying I don't know. They might demote him to the bullpen or something because he might just walk too many guys.
It's possible.
We'll see. He's got upside though.
Now the ones that are generating a little bit of heat that made a lot of some off-season moves, including one huge off-season move, is the Los Angeles Angels. They're at plus 550, 31.5, and they brought in, of course, probably arguably the biggest free agent signing of the offseason as they brought over Anthony Rendon from the Washington Nationals. They've got pretty fair lineup there, bud. They've got Fletcher, Trout, Rendon, Ohtani, Justin Upton, and Albert Pujols as their top 6.
Well, even Tommy La Stella, who had a career year last year before getting injured. He was great last year.
Yeah, that's right. They got Tommy La Stella as well. I'm just not so sure about this pitching staff. I think there's some potential there as Andrew Haney's your number one guy. But Ohtani's only going to pitch once a week, so they're potentially going to have to find.
And that's assuming Ohtani's arm doesn't fall off also.
Yeah, kind of a 5.5 starter, even a 6 starter there. They brought in some outside talent in Julio Teheran. And
you're telling me you're not sold on Hansel Robles as their closer?
I'm not.
That's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, it really is.
That bullpen is actually terrible. There's no way to sugarcoat it. That bullpen is awful.
There's nothing more depressing than having a lead and not being able to hold it, especially in that division.
I like Tehran. I think that was a good signing, at least for what they paid. I think Tehran has talent. Yeah, he's okay. Bundy is okay, I guess. Kind of tough to tell because Baltimore sabotaged his record for so many years. But as a whole, I think this team's going to underachieve. I know that they got Joe Madden now as their manager, right?
Right.
So maybe he provides a spark, but he's going to do something quirky, which is going to work 1 out of every 6 times, but they're only going to talk about it the one time it actually works. Trout's going to about lead off for half of the games. But, yeah, I like some of the moves they made. It's just a matter of I think this pitching staff is terrible. And until I actually see this team make the playoffs, I'm not going to pick them to make the playoffs.
Well, and like we talked about yesterday, Albert Pujols is 103 years old. So
Correct. He's a walking double play. Literally a walking double play because he can't run.
no, he. I don't know if he led the majors in double plays last year, but I know he's very close.
The only thing I know is that Albert Pujols, when you're batting 244, not ideal. He did have 23 home runs and 93 RBIs, but that average that could use some work. And one of the most underachieving players in my lifetime, in my opinion, is Justin Upton. And he has not panned out with Los Angeles at all. So
no, not at all.
Tremendous talent, just never pieced it together. But very talented player.
I would, and Pujols, that's about the quietest 93 RBIs you're ever going to have.
Well, that's because the Angels were out of contention and Trout hit 40-something home runs, so nobody really talked about it.
Well, and Trout didn't he end up?
He got injured. They shut him down with a couple
like
weeks ago.
September 1st or so.
They shut him down. He had a hand issue.
So, all right. Well, this is there's kind of a reason we saved this for last. It's one of my least favorite divisions. These two divisions, as far as competitiveness goes. I'll tell you, I do like. I like.
We like Texas.
Yeah, I do. I like this squad. They made me some money last year. They put up some surprise wins. They had a nice little winning streak.
I think the rotation's actually decent. The rotation's pretty good. I mean, if you look at the teams that we were talking about in this division so far, you have Lance Lynn, Corey Kluber, Mike Minor, Kyle Gibson, Jordan Lyles. I'm not saying I'm a big Gibson or Jordan Lyles guy. For a 4 or 5, really not bad. I mean, you're looking at Lance Lynn as your number 3, who's a veteran. He's been around the block a few times. Minor was solid last year. I'm not sure if he was an all-star or not, but he's pretty good. And Kluber, I don't really know what to expect from him after missing all of last year. But former Cy Young Award winner, I feel like that's a pretty good start to your rotation.
Well, this would have been a fantastic starting rotation in 2015.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to need some people to turn back the clock, but from 1 to 5, they might actually have the deepest rotation in the division, which is crazy to think about. But their rotation from 1 to 5 really doesn't have any extreme weak links, which I actually am kind of surprised by because Texas hasn't had a good pitching staff. I don't even know since when.
It's a tough place to pitch down there.
That's what I'm saying. So,
and of course, it is no longer Globe Life, so we'll have to see
how that works out. But
what's that?
We're gonna have to see how that works out. Now, once again, I don't like this bullpen at all. I mean, Jose Leclerc being your closer is not exactly something you're happy about. But the Angels' bullpen's not good. The Astros' bullpen's okay. Oakland's bullpen's decent. I like Hendricks as a closer. The lineup itself, it's okay. You swap out an old guy in Hunter Pence for an old guy in Todd Frazier. You still have Joey Gallo. You still have Shin-Soo Choo, who I've always liked. I think he's a pretty good player. Andrews is a pretty good shortstop. Odor he's got a hell of a right hand. As a whole, I don't think the lineup's that great, but I like the pitching staff. I think this team could actually surprise some people.
Yeah, I do too. I think you're getting a decent price. These guys, I like. I really like their over at 28.5.
Yeah, I think this team could easily win 32 games, give or take.
I think that's a solid number. 16-1 to win the division. Not so sure that's quite enough to get.
I know they're not going to do it, but 16-1 is not that bad of a price for what I think could potentially be the second best team in the division. I think that they are going to give Oakland a run for their money for second place. I'm not high on the Angels. We've talked about them before. I think Joe Maddon's an extremely overrated manager. I know that he has a World Series. I know he took Tampa to a World Series as well. I get it. His stuff's very quirky. He wants to be the smartest guy in the room, and his moves don't work out about 80% of the time. But nobody talks about it. So I also don't know if Ohtani can stay healthy.
Yeah,
so you have some issues.
That is a huge question. I like this. And you realize, Scott, of these 6 divisions we've talked about here this week, There's going to be one division where there's a massive surprise.
Correct.
Somebody is going to sneak in there that you did not see coming. And
we said the Reds. I don't know if the Reds count, but does that count as a surprise? Kind of
a little bit, but only because it's such a competitive division.
I know. I think Texas could be that surprise team. If there were fans, I think Houston would struggle because I think that the constant booing and stuff would get to them. The lack of fans, I think, really just benefits them a lot.
Yeah.
Being completely honest. And I think Texas, new ballpark and no fans could be a potential issue. But then again, Texas has kind of gone off the deep end. They might actually have fans there. So I don't know. But this team isn't that bad for a team that's projected to have a losing record.
No, I think this is the value in this division for sure. And I guess because they're actually in the division, we need to talk about the Seattle Mariners.
We talked about the Tigers, so we can set the bar pretty low.
Just go ahead and watch the Tigers video from yesterday. It's a lot like that. They do have one of the better names in baseball in Shed Long, playing second base. And,
it's a shame he's not that good, but
Oh no, he's terrible. But the thing about it is he's Shed Long Jr. So that's a cruel bastard as a father right there.
Once that was his nickname. I don't know. I'm curious if the birth certificate actually says Shed.
He went through life with the name of Shed Long and said, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to make my kid's life miserable.
If I had to struggle, you're gonna have to struggle.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sure he grew up being called Junior. That would be my assumption.
God, I would hope so. I'm trying to see.
Truth is that I've been pulling up depth charts for all these teams. I didn't really even bother for Seattle. There's really no point. This team's terrible. At no point is this team even close to anything that would resemble optimism. No. They have some farm system that maybe will look good in 3 to 4 years. But if you really want to go talk about this team, just talk about their acquisition of Kikuchi last year, and that pretty much sums up their entire season.
Yep.
This team can't hit. This team can't pitch. This team can't field. I can't even tell you who the manager is. I don't know where this team is actually I don't know where they show any signs of life. So I am going to take the under gladly. My favorite play on this division is probably going to be the under. I like Vogelbach because he's a big boy. He's the Bryson DeChambeau of the MLB because he looks like he just looks like a huge human being.
He's a bopper.
Yeah, he can't run to first. He might be the only player slower than Pujols in the league, but he can hit home runs. I don't like anybody on this team, so I have to lean to the under.
By the way, I want to put this in here. His name is actually not Shed. You were right. It is not Shed Long. His real name, it's Shedrick.
Oh boy. Okay. That's confident right there. That's something else.
Bernard Long, my friend. Jr.
I'll actually take it back. The one person I actually do like on the Mariners, I actually kind of like Marco Gonzalez. I think he's a pretty good pitcher. I think Seattle should trade him because I think it's similar to the Matt Boyd situation for Detroit. There's no point in having him when he makes the rest of your team look bad. No, but in reality, you're going to need some prospects. This team's just bad.
Seattle's going with an interesting theory. If you have 5 pitchers that aren't very good, you're going to need a 6-man rotation. So they're going to be going with a 6-man rotation, and you've got some of the Justice Sheffield, Taiwan
former Yankee Justice Sheffield. He was in the Paxton trade.
Justin Dunn is your number 6 guy. So should be a long season up there in Mariner land. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Hirano as a closer is actually not awful. Former Diamondback guy. Not terrible, but as a whole, I think we summed everything up. This team is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all. I like the. I think that's a great under.
What's the total for you?
I got him at 24.5.
I'm sorry, what?
24.5.
24?
24.5.
I don't think this team's going to win 20 games.
No. I think
24.5. What?
That's what I had it on draft.
What the hell is that? Okay.
Double check my work there, buddy. That was on draft.
I'm not doubting you. Yeah, I got the same thing at DraftKings. That's one of my favorite plays. I don't know how you don't take the under there.
That's you're going to load up on that. I'm going to have to send you some money because I found that on DraftKings as well. So
Oh, okay, I thought you were looking at Bet Online. Okay.
no, I did DraftKings for this one, so just so we'd be closer.
That's just I don't know. I think that they are going to win maybe 20 games if they're lucky. We talked about last year. They started out 14-3, and they
Yeah,
were
they hit
40 games under for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they broke those records for all the home runs and everything, and yeah, they came to town early in Kansas City, and they just
I had money on them. They won. They won on a walk off. They won on an extra innings home run, and then they proceeded to lose almost every game after that.
bombed the home runs the first couple weeks of the season. Then yeah, nothing.
But yeah, this team's going to be terrible. So I think my favorite play on anything that we've talked about is going to be the last play that we talk about. Is the Mariners under.
Bet 'em. Who are they? Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday when you
I know where their wins are coming from.
There you go. When you start looking at these win totals, how many games are they going to be favored in?
Maybe the Giants. I'll assume they'll split the 4. So
right?
maybe 2 there. Rockies, I think they'll be underdogs in at least 3 because the Rockies can score runs and they're attractive to the public market.
Right.
So they'll probably be favored in one of those games. I think the only shot they have really being favored is anytime Marco Gonzalez is a starter, and that's assuming they're not going up against another good number 1 starter.
Yeah, if they stay on track and go one versus one, I don't know where the wins come from for this team.
Taijuan Walker, maybe, who missed pretty much the entire year last year. Like, he's been injured his entire career, but he's got potential, I guess. But yeah, this team's 24.5.
Yeah, again, 24.5. I think that's the overlay play.
I think they might win 20. I love the under there.
Yeah, maybe 21, something like that.
I'll make that an official play. Give me the under there.
Okay. All right, bud. So let's go through here and just kind of recap the American League West. And all right, so we both agree the Astros.
If you wanted my order, I'll go Astros, Oakland, Texas, Los Angeles, Seattle.
Okay. You know what? I'll go ahead and take the plunge. I'll slide I'll slide the Rangers into second place.
I was going to say I think the Rangers could get second, but Oakland's been there before, so I just kind of trust them a little bit more.
I love the Rangers over 28.5, and I really love the Mariners under 24.5.
I like Texas over also. I'm a bigger fan of Seattle, of course. I mean, that just looks like they're handing you on a silver platter.
Here's some money. Why don't you go ahead and take it?
Mm-hmm.
I would play the Angels under 31.5. Again, until they prove they can do it. And
I'm not touching that, but I do agree. There's too much uncertainty with that team because I have to leave the under with you have the new manager. You have a lot of injury-prone players, a lot of question marks. I'm going to pass on it because there is a chance maybe they can get hot. But I think Seattle under is the dream scenario. And
now for me, I'm going to pass on the A's at 33.5.
I can't touch that either.
I would lean under, but it's certainly possible they could put together a winning streak there.
And Houston, I'm passing because I just don't like Dusty Baker.
Yeah, I know you're not a big. I know you're not a big Dusty Baker fan. I'm probably going to lay the wood with that Astros team. God, I hate rooting for the Astros. I really do.
They're going to win the division. I mean, with no fans and no controversy really surrounding them, what they're going to deal with the press, whoop-de-doo. Like, nobody cares. They lied to the press the entire offseason anyway. It's all that matters.
Yeah. I think minus 167 is a decent price, especially when you're paying, when you're paying minus 500 or minus 700 for the Dodgers.
Yeah, the Astros should be around, minus 240?
Yeah.
Maybe more?
3.
Like, if they were 3, I wouldn't really argue if they were 3.
Agreed. I think that's a good price. I think it's not very often that I'm going to lay 167 and say that's a good price, but I think it's a good price.
I agree.
All right, bud. Well, that's pretty much brings us home. And now all we have to do, Scott, is wait for the season to start. They did report today here on July 3rd. They started their what do they call it? Summer training session or whatever it is.
Summer training.
Okay.
Right instead of spring training, summer training.
Right. So we'll see what happens there.
I made that up, but patent pending.
No, there really is. There is a name for it. It is like
that should be on a T-shirt. The summer training.
So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be an interesting time. As always, we go through these, and our biggest hope is that there's actually a season. That's the thing that we're hoping for the most. We plunge ahead, and any final thoughts on the West out here, bud?
Not really. Seattle, I think, is going to be terrible, as we talked about before.
Found it.
I wish that there was a matchup prop in the MLB for win totals. You can just take one team against another team. Because I would love to see what the odds would be on the Mariners versus the Giants. Out of curiosity. I would actually love to see that.
I'm going to say
I'm surprised that's not a thing. Why is that not a thing? You can't do season matchups?
I don't know. I think you're going to get – I think you'd be about minus 130 on the Giants.
You had spreads in there. You could throw in – I think that's a hell of an idea.
I agree. Well, PointsBet, they'll you can name your own bet.
I think that's a good idea. You, for example, take the Dodgers minus 20 and a half against the Mariners. You see what happens.
The Dodgers minus 20 and a half.
I'm joking. 20 and a half is an exaggeration. I'm joking.
That's too strong. Yeah,
I'm joking. You know what I mean. You can just make some jokes there. You're basically doing a season-long prop, but you're only focusing on two teams. I think that's just a good idea for a prop that books should use, which I don't know why I never thought of before now. I think that's a hell of an idea.
Why not? So, all right. Well, there you go, kids. And that's going to bring our MLB previews to a close. We definitely saved the worst for last as far as the probably maybe the best teams, but probably the least competitive divisions that are out there. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It should be a fun season. I'm kind of looking forward to the 60 games and the kind of the couple of the changes. I like chaos, Scott. I really do.
I like chaos. I think the guy on second base to start the 10th inning is a little bit excessive.
Love it.
I can't say no because they're playing 60 games in 66 days, so you got to make sure games end as quickly as possible.
Right.
I don't want them to start playing rock, paper, scissors for a victory. So, yeah, but I don't know. I'm also a bit of a baseball purist, but that went out the window when everyone only hits home runs or strikes out. So
yeah.
Bunting is not relevant. Stealing bases is not relevant.
Nope.
If you're a purist of baseball, your sport died a couple years ago.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It made a little run there with Moneyball, and the Royals was kind of the last gasp of that. Building keep the line moving and build your solid back into the bullpen. But after that, it's been pretty much whiffer out of the park is pretty much in the story. So, Scott, what are we going to do tomorrow?
We got ourselves some NASCAR.
Talking about a little bit of NASCAR.
But no IndyCar, right?
Nope, no IndyCar. Although there is, for those of you that are fans, tomorrow is going to be a really fun day as the Xfinity and the IRL run back-to-back races on the Indy road course, which I've been to Indy like 5 times. I had no idea they had a road course. So
until today. Until yesterday.
Until yesterday, yeah. That's how big it is. That's how big Indy is.
I don't know if Helio Castroneves is still around, but I'm rooting for him.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either. I think he retired. He's a little bit too old to start climbing fences.
Oh yeah, that was the people that like his sponsors and managers and everything had to watch him climb that fence and be 20 feet up in the air and going, Jesus.
He was my favorite driver just solely for that entertainment aspect. I can't say I really know many other drivers. I know you had Andretti. You had Kanaan, who was around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all I remember.
Great guy.
Oh, you know Danica Patrick. How can I forget?
Danica Patrick ran. So it'll be it should be fun to see.
I don't think Tony Stewart's going to make a cameo this time around.
Tony Stewart is going to run an event here. I think he's doing a local at their local track.
I'm saying I don't think he's going to be in the actual Indy race.
He will not be in the Indy race. No.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who's running. Can't say I've really followed the Indy for a while. I do have milk in my fridge, so maybe I can have a makeshift situation going on.
Well, of course, the actual Indy 500 isn't going to be till like August 23rd.
Oh no, I know. I'm just talking about that's my only interaction ever with the IndyCar stuff, and it pretty much faded entirely.
Listen, put it on your bucket list, buddy. Okay.
Oh, I'd want to go. I'm just saying, in terms of actually watching it or anything like that, the Indy 500 is the only IndyCar race I'll actually ever consider watching.
I'm the same way.
That's pretty much it. So I know the Indy 500 is not tomorrow or on Sunday. I'm just acknowledging I have never watched any race that's not the Indy 500.
Okay. All right. We're good enough. That's a weird flex, but okay.
Yep.
We'll take it. And so, yeah, like for those of you that aren't Scott, the Xfinity and the IRL running back-to-back on the road course should be a fun day tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yep. But we got NASCAR coverage with Winning Willie tomorrow.
Yep. Then we got Winning Willie going to talk about the it's not the Brickyard 400. I don't know what. It's
hand sanitizer. Come on, the Big Machine hand sanitizer?
That's right. It's the Big Machine hand sanitizer. How could I forget that?
That's an all-timer right there. That should be the Washington's new name in football.
the Washington Big
Big
Machine.
machine hand sanitizers.
Let's open up that can of worms right before the end of the show, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
About the Redskins? Perfect. Okay, good idea.
I don't know how you can go.
Guys.
I don't know how FedEx is going to say no to the big machine hand sanitizer.
It just seems to be a perfect match.
Yep.
All right, kids. Well, we had a lot of fun here today. We had a lot of fun this week taking a look at baseball. I'm excited for baseball to start up.
I still am a little bit skeptical of something not going drastically wrong.
Oh, me too.
Until then, yeah, let's have some fun.
You've heard the term whistling past the graveyard. I think we have an entire marching band past the graveyard.
I don't know if the old lady's singing yet, but she's warming up the vocal cords.
Yeah, the fat lady's got the fat lady.
Yeah, true.
Okay. All right.
She might be getting old because the season's been delayed for so long already.
Very true. We will be back tomorrow with Winning Willow to take a look at the Big Machine Hand Sanitizer 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But until then, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I know it's the 3rd. I know a lot of you are going to be out there shooting off those fireworks.
I wish you a happy 4th of July tomorrow. So
I will. I will. And, don't Jason Pierre-Paul it, okay? Get somebody else to – for starters, don't get those fireworks. Don't get the quarter sticks. Don't get the half sticks. There's no reason for you to have that kind of stuff. Go ahead and have some fun. Run around with some sparklers. Maybe some snakes, something like that. But for God's sakes, don't shoot your hands off, all right? Scott, you got big plans? You going to shoot off fireworks tomorrow?
I'm going to watch Chestnut defend the title.
That should be fun. That should be, and I'm excited. I'm so glad you told me because that's a tradition. My son and I every year we watch the hot dog eating contest.
I'm assuming it's on ESPN. I actually don't know what channel it's going to be on, but it's always on ESPN or ABC. So it's
always on ESPN. Last year I think it was on the Deuce. Actually, I think it got relegated to the Deuce, but it is on your ESPN pantheon of stations. So check your local listings. It should be 12 o'clock Eastern time, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it should be at noon.
Excellent. All right. Well, for myself. For Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Winers, we're running you to check out winnersandwiners.com. Great previews on everything going on in the world of sports. What in the wide world of sports is going on? That's Blazing Saddles, by the way, Scott. You need to check that out.
I've seen that movie, so it's fine.
Slim Pickens, great actor, great name. Anyway, make sure you check out winnersandwiners.com and our sister site over there at statsalt.com. Great content each and every day. You know what? You don't know about these sports that are going on right now? Well, we got you covered at Winners and Winers. Make sure you check it out. Won't you get your butt over there and do that? Happy Friday, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk a little NASCAR with Winning Willie. Until then, everybody be well, stay safe. Have a couple hot dogs for me out there with the family, all right? Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.